Hello, my name is Luis Vasquez, and today I'm going to tell you about conjugated linoleic acids. Uh, these are like two little diagrams of what it looks like, or what it can look like, because there are actually about 28 different forms. I'm not going to go over all of those, of course. But what you should know is one of these two forms here occurs within nature, and the other is generally associated with the supplement. Here I have a little picture. That's the cheapest bottle, more or less. It was on a discount, about 50% off. So the cost might be like double that on average, even if you get it from like Walmart or something. And then the non-GMO version that's just the most expensive one I could find. I don't know if that's like actually special. I mean, I know non-GMO means it's non-genetically modified organism, but I don't know exactly how you do that with a supplement. So I'm just gonna blame that on labeling as to why it's so expensive. Because if you're taking a supplement, that sort of defeats the purpose of trying to have a non-GMO thing, doesn't it? So the claim is that CLA is going to help you gain muscle, lose fat, and it's supposed to be good for diabetic people who are type 2 diabetes. So we know it lowers LDL, which is supposed to be good for us, and that's from the book. However, the studies have some very mixed results. The first journal there is kind of the most important one because it's got 60 sources or more than that, and it goes back and forth on how some of them are good and some of them are bad, and I kind of just picked two out of there, read about them, and then slapped them on there. So anyway, the instance with 17 females, they got them all in a hotel. They watched what they did. They fed them the supplement. They fed the other ones normal things. And then at the end of the test, they all had the same exercise routine. They all had the same everything. There was only a difference of about 1 pound at most, and that was over a 3 month period. So they didn't find it was very effective. In contrast, though, there was another study done with obese women who were pregnant, and that one actually went over about 3 pounds, although it was kind of a longer time period too. So there's some arguments as to whether you have to be doing it really long term or whether it plateaus after a certain point. And then something else the International Journal pointed out was aside from the varying ranges of doses and the different forms of CLA, like I said, there are 28 different forms. Uh, the supplements also were provided differently, and some of them were compared with oils or regular food, so there's an inconsistency within the comparisons, and that causes them to have more inconsistencies than they should because they change too many variables because they're not working together and they're all just doing their own individual studies. It sort of happens sometimes, unfortunately. One of the two forms that I had at the beginning, the less natural one, they had found that it tends to give rats diabetes basically, although technically it gives them pre-diabetes, so that picture isn't exactly accurate, but it gets the point across and it messes up their livers. So it's postulated that if we have too much, then we're going to have messed up livers too, which makes sense, although nobody's actually figured out the exact amount yet because you can't do that to humans on purpose. Yeah, that's a conundrum and unfortunate. So the highest dosage they've given to humans consistently is probably about 6 grams, I think, in the tests that I've read anyway. Some things have reported more than that, but I haven't read those. And supposedly, even within the tests, that some of them are finding that within people, the more you take, the higher at risk you are for certain issues because The capsule forms have 10 to 20 times as much CLA as you're going to get from food daily, which is not a good thing. Although we can take way more than rats, obviously, thankfully. And it's not banned because they don't really have much of a reason to ban it. It's not a steroid. It's just a vitamin, basically. But because of minor safety issues, they won't give it to you. You have to go buy it yourself. Technically speaking, there are many positive results given and many positive test studies, but I still can't recommend it because you're taking a chance on getting liver problems and stuff, and I just wouldn't do that. And it's not like the supplements are going to tell you which chemical compositions they're made of. They might have an ingredients list, but they're not going to tell you that one of them is NCLR 1917 or whatever those numbers are. So it's taking a risk, which is an unnecessary risk because we can get what we need from the animals. And you'd only get like 3 pounds after many, many months. So that just really doesn't pan out compared to, just a regular 500 calorie deficit, which would hypothetically lead to 4 pounds a month and be safe. So that makes more sense to me. It's just logical. Thank you for your time. Hopefully I did that correctly, and those are my sources here. Night, or good luck on your grading other people's.